Hi, angel friend. I'm Kathy, the angel speaker. Today, the angels want to talk about inspiration, what it is, and how to access it. When you learn to tap into inspiration, you'll find yourself in the right place at the right time more often. You'll find that people are more receptive to you and your ideas. You'll feel like you're more in the flow of life, not always paddling upstream. Here are 7 tips to tap into inspiration. Tip number 1, develop your connection with the invisible world. Inspiration comes from the heavenly realms. To tap into it, you need to know that God and the angels are always there for you. They want to help. They want to connect with you. To receive their help and their guidance, you need to learn how to know when you're receiving a message from them. Think of this like a phone call from heaven. You won't get the message if you don't pick up the phone. If you don't already know how to connect with the angels, I'll link a video to this one about the 5 ways that we can receive messages from the heavenly realm. Be open to receiving messages from the angels. Know that you can do this. You may even find that you're already receiving messages from them. We're all created with the ability to connect to God and the angels. Open yourself to divine love and all the messages they're sending to you daily. Tip number 2, become aware of how it feels when you're in the place of inspiration. Inspiration is an inner calling, not an outer demand. You cannot push yourself to be inspired. You can open yourself to it though. For me, it's a feeling of joy and excitement, of wonder. It feels right. I do not feel flighty or fearful. There is a feeling that I'm being pulled forward internally, not that I'm trying to push or make something happen. I've learned that when I have this feeling, I need to move towards it. It's expansive and strong. There is great joy in it. Sometimes when I'm thinking an inspired thought that's been brought to me from the invisible world, my hands start waving. That happened to me as I was listening to the angels bring me tip number 1. That's how I knew that angels wanted me to talk about that point. When my ego is in charge, when I'm trying to make things happen, there is a lot more effort involved. Yes, once you've received an inspired idea, you do need to take the steps in the physical world to bring your idea to fruition. But to me, it's easier and more joyful than when I'm in the place of my ego telling me what I should do. For me, a should idea feels like I'm trying to push a rope uphill. An inspirational idea, however, almost propels me forward. I can't not do it. I'm excited. I'm connected. I'm moving forward. I'm inspired. Years ago, I met a woman who told me she kept getting the idea that she should start a company to bottle water and sell it at gas stations. This idea came to her again and again. And each time her logical brain would take over and she would say to herself, who would possibly buy a bottle of water at a gas station? In short, she talked herself out of it. Of course, you already know the end of the story. Other people did it, and now, all these years later, everyone knows they can stop at a gas station to buy bottled water. Make sure you know how it feels when inspiration strikes. Then you can take action. It's really important. Tip number 3, respond to inspiration by taking a step forward. Sometimes following inspiration feels like you're following a trail of breadcrumbs. Each step you take leads to the next one. We don't always see the entire path at the beginning. Once we've received an inspired idea, it's important to begin moving towards it. Maybe you can only take very small steps, but even if you take one small step a day, you're still moving towards what you want in life. As they say, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Not only does taking this daily step move you forward, but it also begins to build your spiritual connection. When the angels see you moving forward, they'll give you the next step. They never push. You have free will after all, but they do encourage. When I was first receiving my messages, sometimes I couldn't tell the difference between inspiration and wishful thinking. I learned that as I took each small step forward, I could actually feel the difference between the two. When I took a step that I'd been guided to take by the angels, there was a sense of peace. It felt good. When I took a step towards wishful thinking, it felt heavier and harder. Tip number 4, march to the beat of your own drummer. Listen to your soul. Don't be deterred by the good intentions of others. Lots of people have thoughts about what you should or shouldn't do. They have ideas about your capabilities and what you can accomplish in the world. They don't see your soul and what it can accomplish. They have a very finite earthly impression of who you are and what you're capable of. Don't listen to them. You must learn to connect with your soul, that part of you that is intimately connected to spirit, the part of you that remembers your divinity, who you were before you came to earth, and the part of you that is still alive when your physical body has finished its time on earth. Your soul knows that you are beautiful, strong, and capable. Your soul can guide you with the help of the Holy Spirit into new adventures and living your life's dream. Live from this part of yourself, not from the ideas of others. As Winnie the Pooh so brilliantly said, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Friend, that's what you find when you connect with your soul. Tip number 5, live your passion. Do not compromise. Find the reason you were brought into this world. You're here to make a difference in some way. When you create from a place of passion, you're able to do more than you ever thought you could. As Joseph Campbell said, if you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while, waiting for you. And the life that you ought to be living is the one you are living. Follow your bliss and don't be afraid. And doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. Bliss is connecting with your passion. It's joy and following your life purpose. It's living life guided by the connection between God, the angels, and your soul. It's making the difference you are called to make here in this world. Tip number 6, allow space in your day. It's hard for the still, small voice of God to be heard when you're rushing. I know that you're busy and that you have lots of things to do. I was a single mom years ago, and amazingly, that's the time in my life when my angel connection started and then grew. I remember how hard it seemed to find the time to connect. At that time in my life, I was so exhausted and overwhelmed that I was almost desperate to try something new. That something new for me was taking a few pauses in the day and activating the connection between me and the heavenly realms. When I realized the practical, effective, inspirational help I was receiving, I knew I needed to take time to connect. Then, once I received heavenly guidance, I could move forward on a somewhat easier path. Life was still hard. I was still a single mom after all, and there was still a lot to be done. But bit by bit, this new way of living started making life just a bit easier. It took a while for the exhaustion to completely leave, but by allowing space in my day to listen to God and the angels, I immediately began to heal and become stronger. Tip number 7, live from a place of gratitude. Be thankful for your life turns, even the hard ones. This can be a hard one for a lot of us. It's pretty easy to be grateful for the happy things in life. But it's not always easy to be grateful for the difficult things in life. I've learned that gratitude is a muscle we can develop for both the happy things and the hard things. Consider starting a gratitude journal and write down the things you're grateful for daily. I recommend either doing this first thing in the morning or the last thing at night. If you find that you're inspired to do it more often, write in your gratitude journal several times a day. I think most of us can look back at the really difficult times of our lives and see that we've grown from them, that we've learned lessons that have been helpful to us, that we have more to offer others in the world because of what we've learned. If you're currently in a difficult place and you can't be grateful for it right now, that's completely okay. Give yourself grace to feel how you feel. Know that in the future you may be able to find a blessing even from this difficult period of your life. That has happened to me again and again. Now the angels want me to share a story that shows inspiration in action. I was inspired to start a business named Toe Ring Queen when my husband Doug was still alive. We sold toe rings at fairs and festivals. He transitioned to the heavenly realm in 2013. After that, I ran the business by myself. It was really hard. Several years after Doug left the physical realm, I found myself driving to an event sobbing. As I was boo-hooing, I said to myself, I can't do this by myself anymore. I was exhausted. Unfortunately, I did not wait for inspiration to strike. I put my business up for sale and was almost desperate for someone to buy it. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Since it had been about 6 years since Doug transitioned, I had done some online dating. I had dated some really good men and a few definitely nots. No one I met was it. I had kind of soured on the online dating scene, and one day the angels clearly told me to get on a specific dating site that day. I knew it was an inspirational hit, but I rolled my eyes at their suggestion. They were adamant. They really wanted me to do it. I finally told them that I would, but that I wasn't going to spend any time looking for potential men on the website. If this was going to happen, he was going to have to find me. They said, okay. I put up a profile. The next morning, I got an email from a guy in Ohio. His email was short and funny. I checked out his profile and I liked it. I responded. I was a little flirtier than usual because this guy was in Ohio and I was in Texas, so it was clear to me that nothing was going to happen. That night, he and I messaged back and forth on the site. Then he asked if he could call. I said yes. We had the best time on the phone call. It was so much fun visiting with him. He asked what I did for a living. I explained that I sold toe rings at fairs and festivals. In the past, this had actually turned some other men that I dated off. Apparently, they didn't think it was a real way to earn money, but he thought it sounded great. I told him that the business was up for sale though, because I couldn't work it by myself anymore. He said, well, maybe don't sell that business yet. If this works out, maybe we could work it together. What? You could have knocked me over with a feather. I was thinking, did he just say that? We continued talking and texting, and friend, that weekend, he was here in Texas visiting me. And the next weekend, I was in Ohio visiting him, meeting his friends, and checking him out. And once my visit was over, he flew back to Texas with me, and we've been together ever since. It's been over 5 years now, and we still have so much fun together. We ran the business together for a few years, and then I was once again ready to sell. This time I knew that it was the inspired thing to do, but I didn't know exactly how it would work. Since the idea was inspired, I took the first step. I put the business on the market. I talked to a few people about it, but for one reason or another, it didn't work out with them. Then I got a message from someone who wanted to know more. She came to an event, and over time, she got more and more excited and bought the business from me. She is such a perfect fit for Toe Ring Queen. She's me, but instead of being an introvert, she's an extrovert. Now, hubby Phil and I are working together, making videos and getting ready to teach classes and lead retreats. I was inspired to get on that dating website, and even though I rolled my eyes at first, I'm sure glad I did. They were right. Friend, you can do this. I know you can. I started out blocked and had no idea how to receive inspirational messages. If I did it, you can too. Follow the 7 tips, listen to God and the angels, and you'll be well on your way to living an inspired life. If you'd like to help get this message of love out into the world, we'd be so grateful if you'd like, share, and subscribe. Apparently, it helps the algorithm. Leave me a comment below with any questions or topics you'd like me to address in future videos. You can also sign up to receive our newsletter on our website, angelspeaker.com. God and the angels love you so much, and Phil and I do too. We'll see you next time.